to create the cornea, I will add another sphere. And let's go to the channel box and set the subdivisions to 50, so it's the same as the other one. I will scale it up a bit if I can see it. Let's see, hit 4 on the keyboard there to see the wireframe. And this time I'll not rotate it because this part up here doesn't really deform that well, so I'll just hide it at the top and at the bottom. And also, since it's a stylized eye, I'll just keep this sphere completely round without the offset here, for now at least. So I'll select it, Shift T to add a shader material, so just the standard redshift material, and let's call this cornea. I mean, anatomically it's not really correct to call it cornea because as far as I understand it's just the part in the middle, but yeah, you know what I mean. Cornea SHD, and I set the diffuse to 0, and roughness, yeah, should be 0, refraction all the way up. And let's go back here to the look dev layout, start the IPR. All right, so at least now we have some specularity, and you can see here we have some refraction going. I have my shader here. To get the highlight back, there's a little trick you can do, is to change the IPR of the inner shader. I think it's because when you have the same IOR, not IPR, index of refraction, when these are set to the same, I guess Redshift thinks it's the same object, and then you don't have like internal specularity. But if you just change it ever so slightly, you should get some of the specularity back here. So you see here I got some. If I turn it down even more, now it's starting to look pretty good. You can also see from the side, when I'm changing this, nothing is really happening to the refraction, but if you go to the cornea shader, you can see here it kind of scales how much the light, the photons are, like the path of the light beams are bent. But what I found, the bigger the offset between these two IORs, the more specularity you'll get. And I really like when it's burning out a little bit like this. It's pretty nice. Another thing you can play around with is the in the eyeball shader, the roughness value. So here it's kind of all the way like a mirror. It's not so easy to see right now. And here is like a really rough surface. I find having it somewhere in the middle gives a nice result. So just going to keep it to 0.45. And I'll play around a bit more with this. We will change this later as well. Just be aware if you're using this for animation that like the specularity is changing a lot depending on the angle. So if you're making an animation, I would maybe rather make this pass or this specularity on, for example, another render layer and then comp it in to have more control, or yeah, use some other kind of trick. But for stills, this is really good. And I'm sure there is a way to control it better as well from different angles, but just not that I found at the moment. Yeah, so we can try to change the colors a bit on the main slider. We could also make the render view a bit bigger. Let me make this bigger. Just to see what we have going. By the way, to avoid that the size of the render view is resetting all the time, you can turn off auto resize here. So I just want to see how it looks here. Yeah, it's starting to look pretty good, I think. That's too much. Cool. There is a bit of a weird gradient going on here. So I want to check out what that is. Maximize this again. Just go a bit closer here. Or maybe I could just change to the camera. Let me see. This is the spec remap. Okay, so it's the value. Go back to the perspective. Okay, I think I'm gonna keep the value as it is. So actually now it's using the exact same color. Yeah, just gonna keep that just slightly lighter for now. All right. So in the next video, we'll take a look at how to, add some procedural texture.